So yesterday, we rushed through to the end. I very quickly talked about your two assignments. I want to review what the assignment is, and then I'll show you an example of the assignment, and we'll talk about the due date as well. So remember, there's two parts of the assignment. The first is to write a screenplay. So here are the instructions. You are writing a 3-page screenplay. The big emphasis on this is the formatting. So make sure you do that correctly. If you use celltext.com, you should have no trouble getting it correct. If you want to try it in Word or Google Docs, make sure you follow your formatting map that we did the other day. So it's 3 pages. You do not have to get to the end of the movie with that screenplay. If you get through the first 2 minutes of it, first 1 minute in 3 pages, that's totally fine. All right? You're writing an original plot. Don't just copy a movie that's already been done. Also, don't copy a book either. So something original. And yeah, that's it. Once you've written your screenplay, you then are going to turn it into a movie. In your movie, you are going to use the framing shots, the angles, and movement that we talked about. So you need to use 10 of them. And a duplicate doesn't count as 2. So if you have 2 close-up shots, that's only 1. That only counts as 1. Okay? So 10 unique shots, angles, or movement. You will turn both the screenplay and the movie into me on Canvas. Yes. Well, if you wanted to do the screenplay early, like if you finish it tonight, you can turn it in even before you do the movie. So it's on 2 separate assignments on Canvas. And both of them are going to be due next Friday. So you have the weekend, well, tomorrow and the weekend, and then all next week to do it. And by Friday, I mean Friday at midnight. So then we can watch them, well, I don't think we'll watch them in class, but I'll post them so you can all watch each other's movies. All right? Next Friday, not tomorrow. Yes, tonight. Write a screenplay and make a movie tonight. That's nice of you, isn't it? Friday. Okay, do you have questions about the assignment? It's all clear? These 2 written instruction sheets are on Canvas, so you can go in there and check if you forget. Go ahead and take a look at that. I want to show you how to use CellText really quickly. It is free website. Well, free, you get 3 free projects. After that, you've got to pay. So let me get here. If I'm in your line of sight and you want to scooch over for a minute while I explain it, feel free. So this is CellText, CELTX.com. If you don't have an account, which I don't think you do at this point, right here, you're going to sign up. Use your email. Use your school email for this. So then if later you decide you want to do it for fun, you can use your own personal email and get 3 more free projects. Okay, once you have created your account, you sign in. And this is what it looks like. I've used 2 of mine. I'm going to just go back and use this test one that I did. But yours will be blank at first. You'll click on New Project over here. It will ask you what kind of project. I can't remember what all the options are, but film and TV is what you're going to pick. All right, and then it will open up a blank page that looks like this. Now you'll notice right up here at the top you have a drop-down menu, and it has the formatting options for various things. You've got act and scene heading, which we're not going to worry about. We didn't talk about that in our formatting lesson. We have action, which is what the character does, what the camera sees. Well, not even necessarily what the character does. It's what the camera is going to film, what the audience will see. Okay, then we've got character. That's the character's name. Can you see okay? All right, stop me if you can't, or like I said, move. We've got dialogue. We've got parenthetical. The parenthetical is the directions for the actor, for the character. Transition, you don't need to worry about that. That would be something for the editor. Like if the director, the screenplay writer wants it to be a fade from this scene to this, then you would write in that transition. But you don't have to worry about transitions. The shot, that's what Celtx calls the location formatting. Remember when we looked at formats, there was like EXT, the exterior of the Serengeti. That's what this formatting is going to be. Text, I'm not sure, maybe that's just like notes for the production staff or something like that. You don't need to worry about text. Okay, so we get to our blank page, and we're going to start. I'm going to choose shot, because I'm going to put the location here. And when I chose shot, it automatically formatted it, put the margin where it's supposed to be at 1.5 inches on that margin. It also is going to format the font. So anybody remember what is the font and what is the formatting of the font for location? This starts with C. Yeah, Courier, whatever that typewriter font is. And when we're typing our location, what does it look like? It's all caps. That's the answer that I was trying to get from you, but it was probably confusing. So I'm not even going to push shift or caps locks or anything. I'm just going to type let's see, exterior, Skyview High School. Okay. And I can push enter, return, go to the next line, and choose something else. The next thing that I, as the screenplay writer, want to do is put some action. This is what the camera is going to see. So it's going to format it, and action is not in all caps or anything like that. It's just normal font, and it's at the 1.5 inch margin. So I'm going to put a group of high school students walks through a crowded parking lot, period. That's good. I like that. Conrad?
Wouldn't it be students walk?
No, because it's group walks.
Group.
Yeah, group walks. Of high school students is the preposition.
Okay, thank you.
Why not?
Okay, so there we've got our action, but thanks for asking about that. That felt snarky, my response, and I didn't mean it to be.
No, thank you.
Sometimes I can't control myself and I say something snarky. Okay, so we've got the action. Then what's going to happen is somebody's going to say something. So I'm going to choose character, and it automatically formatted it. Sorry if the zooming in and zooming out is making me sick. I just want you to see where I'm at on the page. So the character name, remember it looks like it's almost centered, but it's not centered. Your map that you got would show you that it's at 3.7 inches from the left. That's where that's at. And it's also all caps. So again, I'm not going to push shift or anything. And I'm going to type the character's name, John. Now Celtx is so smart that it knows that the next thing that's going to happen is dialogue. So I push return, and it already went to dialogue and formatted it. It put in the right margin location here. So John says, "Hey everybody, I am so glad to see you here at school. You are my favorite friends." Great, huh? It sounds very natural. I feel like that's how people talk. As I said it out loud, it felt like,
Sounded like someone watched too many kid shows.
oh, well maybe I like kids shows.
I'm kidding.
Okay, so it's going to think the next thing I'm going to do is add in a conversation, somebody else saying something. So when I push return, it formatted to put another character's name. So Ruth, she's going to say something. We all know Ruth, right?
Oh,
That
Oh,
rude.
yeah.
She says, John, you are neat. I, too, am grateful for you and your friendship. Don't ever change.
Did you have a friend Ruth in high school?
We all have a friend Ruth.
Oh.
No, actually, I don't know anybody named Ruth.
Neither do I.
So anyway, that for some reason was the first name that came to my head when I was typing my screenplay, and there we go. Okay, good. So great conversation. Something's going to happen next. We're going to put in a parenthetical. This is telling the actors what they're going to do. John and Ruth, you read my mind, they hug.
Aw.
In a friendly fashion. There is no romance in this exchange. Exchange of hugs. I like it. Okay, so we've got a little parenthetical. Something else we can, that's all the things. We did our shot, that's our location. We did our parenthetical, we did some dialogue, character's name, we did some action. Yeah. So that is how you're going to type it. Now, of course, you're doing 3 pages. I don't want to make you sit here while I type 3 pages of amazing screenplay, but you will do that. Yes? Yeah, the shot is the location. It could be interior, it could be, well, I guess those are the 2, interior, exterior. Conrad?
So with our screenplay, you said you want us to write like a bird's eye shot and like the kind of shot, would that be in the same sentence as like Skyview High School or?
Yes, so if you are putting that, did I tell you you did have to do that?
Yeah.
I'm going to change my mind and make that optional,
Okay.
okay? Mostly because that's what I told First Hour today, and that's fresh in my mind. So, to make it fair, you don't have to type in the frames, angles, or movement. But if you want to, it probably will help make your film production go smoother if you already know what you want here. So if you were putting that, you would put in the shot. So Skyview High School, actually we put wide shot of Skyview High School, or establishing shot. Okay? Alright, so once you've got your 3 pages done, 3 pages of brilliance, you're going to download it as a PDF, which happens up here in File. You click on File and go to Print/Download PDF. You get a look at it and make sure it's right. And we can either print it here or just click Download. And there it is. There is my screenplay. I'm going to send it to Hollywood immediately. Just put it in an envelope and write Hollywood on it, put it in the mailbox, and off it goes. Notice on this page, it doesn't have a page number because this is page 1, and we don't put a page number on page 1, and we don't put a page number on the cover page, which you don't have to do. You don't have to do a cover page. And the cover page does not count as page 1. So this one would be 1. When you get to the next one, Celtx will automatically put page 2 on there. You don't have to worry about headers at all. So it kind of sounds like Celtx is the way to go, right? For you as a maybe first time screenplay writer. But don't feel like you have to. If you say, I'm really good at setting tabs in Google Docs, that's what I'm going to do. Go ahead. All right, questions about Celtx? It's probably hard to have any until you get your hands on it and actually play. Yeah?
Is the link in Canvas?
It will be if it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make sure that there's a link to that so you don't have to just remember because it's a weird name, Celtx. Yeah. Yeah.
Are the only things that need to be in all caps the location and the character names?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's all. And like I said, it will do it for you, so don't even worry about it. It will show you exactly what it's supposed to look like.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a learning curve with it, but it's not difficult. So play around with it. Maybe get on there tonight and see how you do all the formatting, the downloading, and then you can let your brain stew as you come up with a really great movie.
about the use of parentheticals.
Uh-huh.
What you use right here is like they said they hug, but wouldn't that be like an action thing?
Well, okay, so the difference is that the action is what the camera's seeing all of it, right? So as the actor, I don't need to know necessarily that the wind is blowing, but that would go in the action. The sun is high in the sky, cars pass by quickly, that kind of thing would go in the action.
Okay.
But the actor doesn't have to know that. They do know at this point that they need to hug. So, I should have been added a little bit more in the action and put something that wasn't necessarily what the characters were doing.
Okay.
But yeah, does that make sense? Is that clearer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the action is not necessarily it's more what the camera is seeing that's not necessarily what actors are doing. So. Okay, cool. Give it a try and good luck. I think you'll like it. Let me show you now a couple examples of this assignment that has been turned into film. I'm not going to show you the screenplays, I'll just show you the movies from last year. Both of these were made third trimester while we were on quarantine. So the first one was inspired by our quarantine situation. Well, I guess both of them kind of were. So watch and enjoy. Notice that they put in the captions of what kind of shot frame or shot angle or movement there is, which is part of the requirement. Okay. So here is The Curse of the Quarantined Mother.
Hi, and welcome to HAP News. Today our lead story is the coronavirus and how it is taking the world by storm. It is causing families to quarantine in homes without parents going to jobs and students going to school. We now have a lead story where a family kindly invited us into their home in Smithfield, Utah to show us firsthand how the coronavirus is affecting their family dynamic. We go to the story now.
Bones! Why are you on your phone, you demon child? Your chores aren't done!
What are you talking about? My chores are done.
False! The dishes aren't done!
See, the dishes are done.
See, the dishes aren't done. See, these dishes aren't done. Your father, Gilbert Sanchez, is going to be pissed at you.
What?
I'm texting your father, Gilbert Sanchez.
Wow, that was a new story. Now the folks from HEP News, good night. And I'm John Scott, signing out.
There you go. Easy enough. Easy breezy. It's a great plot. I love that. Okay, here's a second one. This one is on the farm.
Today on the farm, we have Debbie and Lawson feeding the pigs.
I did it! Hi. Why aren't you working? The chores aren't done. What do you mean
kids on the farm fighting about the pigs. So that's what you're doing. That's what I expect. Something like that. Be sure to put in the caption of what kind of thing you're using here. All right? Now, do you have questions about the assignment that I can quickly answer? Yes.
So, where do we make the video at when we're done?
Say again?
Where do we make the video at and how do we make it?
Like location or like?
On film, edit the movie, I guess?
No, it does not matter to me if you record it on your phone or if you use a video camera. If you use iMovie or something else, I'm going to tomorrow show you a couple options you can use for film editing if you've never done film editing. Some easy platforms you can use. Yeah. My psychic ability is telling me somebody. Oh, Megan.
So these two follow kind of the same like storyline, where they're arguing about chores.
Yeah.
Do we have to do that or
No.
does it be anything?
No, it just so happened. I guess that's what happened when we're on quarantine. We're all fighting about doing the chores. So no, it can be anything you want. Here's a few answers from your thoughts that I know you're thinking. Number one, can you do this in partners or groups? And the answer is yes, you can. However, each person has to write their own screenplay, their own unique screenplay, and then you can choose. I don't want more than 4 people doing it together. Otherwise, it's just a big class assignment. Then the 4 of you, or however many, can pick which of your 4 screenplays you want to turn into a movie. All right? So you only have to make one movie amongst all of you. Do you have to be in it? The answer is no. You don't have to be in it. Also, you don't even have to have people in it if you don't want to. Last year there was another one. A kid made a little Lego monster and did stop motion animation with that and told the story. There were no people. He just did that on his own. So you can do that. If you wanted to do like a nature documentary, you can do that as long as you get those 10 different requirements in. Okay? All right. Let's watch some movies, shall we? Yeah, I've got 2 that I want to show you, 2 short documentaries. And as you do it, well, before we watch it, I want you to get out a piece of paper. You're not going to turn this in, so it doesn't have to be your nice piece of paper. But as quickly as you can, I want you to write these requirements down. We've got our shots, angles, and movements. Write these down. We've got master shot, establishing shot. If you can't see it from where you're at, please feel free to come stand up closer so you can see those and just write it down quickly.
I don't know if we went over the point of view shot.
Is that on here? Point of view is where what the camera is seeing is what the character would be seeing. So the character is replaced by the camera. So if I was walking down a dark hallway, the character is, and oh, there's something scary happening. Then all of a sudden you could take the camera and make it look like it's me walking down the hall. That's what point of view is. You're just replacing the character's point of view with the camera.
Okay.
more seconds to get that written down. Okay, if you didn't get them, I'm just gonna scoot this over to the right side of the screen while we watch the movie next to it. As you watch the movies, I want you to use the list that you just wrote to make tally marks when you see these on screen. Okay, so if you see a close-up, just put a little tally mark. And then after we're done with it, we'll talk about what we saw. Like what we saw the most, or maybe there's only one of this one, or whatever. Yeah? Yes. Okay, the first short documentary we're going to watch is called A Place Like This. The tally mark, if you know what kind of shot that is.
In my life, early life, I was living in the suburbs, all that sort of thing, and I never had a garden. I never had time for it. I swore then that if I ever got the opportunity, I'd like a big garden and one that I could put a water feature in, grow the trees, the great trees that I got to love. Right from the very beginning, I decided that you can't have dreams of a beautiful garden if you don't have water. On my 18th birthday, the 29th of October 1942, I'd made up my mind that I was going to avenge my father's treatment by joining to fight the Boche. It was jingoistic, I know, to think about it, but that's what we were thinking of. So I became an officer of the Royal Australian Air Force at 18 and went overseas to Europe, where things were certainly different. In circumstances where things went wrong very quickly, if aircraft disintegrated for some reason, very seldom did any of the crew survive. Well, the most unfortunate thing happened in our case. Coming back from Dortmund, my rear gunner, in his last words to me, he screamed out, "Jet, skipper, dive." They were his last words. In a fraction of a second, the 6 guys were out in the falling at 20,000 feet. It takes almost 3 minutes to free fall to the earth. If you ever experience 3 minutes silence, you know how long that is. It was a snowy night on the ground, and the bit of light was coming through. I came to, and surprisingly, the steel seat, had it and I had parted company. The chute was hanging off me, and I could feel it burning at the back from the explosion. You look down, and I could see this bloody church down against the snow. It was midnight. I look at it. You never forget it. And I thought, cripes, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to land on that point. Rather than that, I had to go and open the chute, and surprisingly it worked. About 1,000 feet or so, because I was so close to the ground, and came down in this bloody churchyard. Peach tree or something was there, it broke the fall. The leaves on the tupelo, as they turn, they go almost full, deep red. And then, of course, the liquid ambers, they're pretty good, and the pinoaks. If I wanted to set out a way that a person should depart this planet, why not depart from a place like this? I'd be happy. I'd be happy to be here and just nod off.
Place like this. Look at your tally marks that you made. Which shots did you see, or any of those many options did you see in this film, short documentary? Gracie, what was one that you saw? Extreme close-ups. Cool. Anybody else see extreme close-ups in that? Yeah. There was a lot of them, weren't there? What kind of things, somebody that, not Gracie, what kind of things did you see were extreme close-ups? Yeah, there was a bee on the flower. His hands, yeah, that was cool, huh? You saw he was kind of like playing with his hands a little bit. That is an interesting shot that you'll see if you ever watch interviews. They'll show that because you can see that the person is like telling something that makes them nervous or something, and that's what does it. So the filmmaker helps you understand or see that feeling through their hands. Cool. All right, extreme close-up of their hands, the bee, a leaf, yeah. Jacob, what was one do you remember one? Oh, I know. Okay, all right. We saw some master shots. Anybody else see a master shot? Or two or something? Okay. Anybody want to share what they saw in that master shot? Toby?
When he and his dog were walking away at the end.
Yeah, the very last thing. You saw everything you needed to see. You saw the location, you saw the man, you saw the dog. It was all there. It was like you're watching it on stage, like a master shot would be. Okay, look at your list again. What else did you see that you put a tally mark by? Let's see, Madison, what was one you put a tally mark by?
There was a confusion with the flower.
Oh, I didn't notice that one. How did I not notice that? Anybody else see a contra zoom? Okay, seeing some nods. Awesome. Good eye. Better eye than me. You should teach the class. What else did you put a tally mark by? What's that?
Pan.
A pan. Okay, anybody see a pan? Pan movement. All right. Brooklyn?
A low angle shot.
Okay. Of the trees. Okay, good. Good catch.
There's like cool medium shots. It's just like kids doing stuff.
Yeah, and sometimes a medium shot sometimes will be a little bit lower than the actual waist of the person. So, and that counts still. So don't think, oh, I can see part of the legs. It's not a medium shot. It still counts. We'll count it. Okay, any other shots you saw? Or a movement or anything?
Whenever they like film his face, probably like have a close up on him.
Okay, so we had just a close-up. There were extreme close-ups, but also just a regular. Yeah. All right. And over the shoulder. It was his shoulder. That's right. He was walking into the garden and you saw that. Cool. Claire? Oh, the sky. What would you call that kind of shot, do you think? If we're looking up, we would call it a low angle. Yeah, so it could be a low angle, which would give us the feeling of, which fits with his narrative, right? When he was falling from the sky and the plane crashed, the sky really is the boss here. Like, you can't do anything when you're in a plane and it's going down, and the sky is the only thing around. So yeah, we get the intimidation of that huge sky with that angle, the low angle. It could also, we could just say, because the sky is so big, you're trying to get it all in there, it could be a wide shot too. So, okay, very good, very good. I'm not going to show it to you again, but if I pointed it out to you at the beginning, you would have noticed that each of those, the camera angle changed about every 7-8 seconds. Did we talk about that? I can't remember if it was this class or the other class. That is something, because we now have such short attention spans, we all do, right? That's why they don't use a master shot anymore, is because we can't sit and watch this master shot for a 2-hour movie. Now, a shot is about 7 to 8 seconds long, and then it has to go to something else. Otherwise, we're like, boring, boring. So the next movie we watch, notice that on top of continuing to add to your tally list. Maybe make like another column so you can see where the last movie ended and this one starts, and continue tallying when you see different angles. The next short documentary is called That's Not Ours. And I'm going to make this in full screen so you can see it really well.
So it only has like 3 options.
The best setup, to be honest, I have.
My name is Ethan. I'm 17, due to turn 18. I am a son, a brother, and an uncle.
The version of you that others see isn't you, if that makes sense. That other people see you, determine you, have expectations and prejudices and whole sets of understanding about who you are before you've even opened your mouth, before you've even walked through the door. Black men, black people, but especially black men, I'd say, are visible and invisible at the same time. What's inside you doesn't get heard, doesn't get seen.
Oh my god, Ethan! Oh my god, no, that's taking it too far.
One night back in April, I was coming from a friend's house with another friend. We was on our way to the bus stop when Approaching the bus stop across the other side of the road was a group of boys. The boys yelled at us. Eventually, they started chasing me and my friend down the road, about 6 of them. We got caught.
And the road was like this, how it is now with the cars. And so then, we was running the road, everything. That's how we almost got run over, that's how I got caught.
And from there, the stabbings happened. There wasn't really much talking, just them on.
I saw him get stabbed in his leg, and then, well, I didn't know that I was getting stabbed, but I felt that on my back, it felt like a punch, but...
No one was helping, no one was helping. There was a lot of people there, but no one was helping. There was people who I knew saw the whole thing, but they walked off as if nothing had happened. And when asking passers-by if they could help,
they were saying no thanks. They're sorry that they can't help.
Passers-by ignoring me and not helping me, I felt like they almost made me feel like it was my fault that I got stabbed. I know that in their heads they just thought, I'm a young boy fighting, nobody comes into a situation, and whatever happened that night was all due to my own actions.
Oh yeah, this is the wall. Didn't get no further than this. That's it.
Whilst in the hospital, one of the nurses treating me on my ward told me that once I'm discharged from the hospital, I should stop carrying knives and fighting on the road, in the street. As what had happened to me was a result of carrying knives and fighting on the street. But I hadn't told her that I carry knives. She doesn't know nothing about me, she doesn't know who I am. So for her to assume that what happened was because of me, it hurts. Saying what she said to me cut deeper than any of the knife wounds themselves. When I had my incident, when I was in the hospital, a lot of the nurses and other people on the ward was telling me that what had happened was, in a way, my own fault due to what I wear.
Down to what you wear?
Yeah.
It was your fault that you was attacked by people you'd never met before because of your clothing?
Yeah.
Wow. That's like saying that when a woman is raped by a total stranger, it was because of what she was wearing and it's
attractive.
Yeah, and so therefore it's partly her fault. Yeah, that's a pretty effed up thing to say to a kid that's really almost died. There's a police officer that trims in it, right? And one time, when he was on, I think, flying squad or drug squad, he came in for a haircut. And he had one of his colleagues in there with him. This obviously was some white officer from outside of London, didn't really have any real contact with black people from wherever he came from. So, and even though this is a police officer that had obviously come to get a haircut, we obviously had a relationship, this guy decided to treat me like a suspect. So he's questioning me about how long have I been here, how much money do I earn, what did I do before, until my mate, who was in the chair at the time, had to just tell him to go sit in the car. And then after the haircut, he went out there and gave him a dressing down. But the point is that this guy is a police officer from, I don't know, way up north somewhere. His perception was every black person he comes in contact with should be treated the same. I don't even really blame him, really. I mean, every time you pick up a newspaper or read the news, all you ever see is this black kid or group of black guys in hoodies and dark clothes getting up to something. To the point now when anyone sees a group of black kids, black boys, they always think the worst.
have been paid to a 15-year-old boy who was stabbed to death outside
A
of
17-year-old died from a stab wound to the heart. A knife-drawn blade was used for the crime every 16
Two
minutes.
teenagers have been seriously injured in a suspected stabbing in Newton last night.
I think the doctor that discharged you had the perception that you were, because you was a young boy, you were in a gang. Okay, black boy. You were in a gang. Why did she feel like that, and why did she say it? She's just rude, and she's just one of life's ignorant people. Maybe if she had asked you what the problem was or how it happened, you could have told her.
What do you think it's my fault that I got stabbed? It's because I'm black and how I look that I got stabbed.
There's nothing wrong with how you look. There's nothing wrong with the colour of your skin. You keep telling me I don't understand. What don't I understand?
I tend to feel invisible nowadays. When I say invisible, I mean people don't actually see me for who I am.
If it doesn't work, going in America.
I'm gonna try Jamaica.
I do feel like as black people we are seen as violent all the time and aggressive. Yeah.
You don't speak articulately. Like I went downstairs to get a drink of water, and I asked one of the people that were in charge to get a bottle of water. Yeah, at our college. It was like another branch of our college, and the lady said yes. So I went in to go get a bottle of water, but obviously the head teacher of that school saw me come out with the bottle of water and was like, "Why are you stealing that? Why are you sneaking off with that?" I said, "I asked the lady if I could have it. It's not like I've come in here and just taken it without permission." And he started saying that I was being rude, aggressive, and I was very confused because the way I was speaking to him, I'm taught to speak to adults with respect, and I was speaking to him with respect, but he was treating me as if I was, I don't know, it was just really odd.
I don't speak like most people assume a black person would, and when I do that, they always say, "Oh, why are you speaking so posh? Why are you speaking like a white guy?" And I'm like, no, I'm just speaking differently and articulately, but it's the assumption that a black person can't speak with intelligence.
Look at London from here. Looks quite nice. Is that the shop? No, that's it from the castle.
Most successful black men in the media are either rappers, entertainers, or athletes, which isn't really achievable for most young people. You don't really see more realistic jobs such as lawyers, doctors, business owners, and etc. Young people, especially young black males, need more realistic role models shown on the TV. One of my friends does drama, he wants to be an actor. Another one, a lawyer. Another one wants to do criminology. We like doing stuff like that as well. We have to go out of our way a lot to prove, almost that we have to prove ourselves of not being what we seem to be. There's a lot of black people that don't actually know any black people personally. They don't really get to communicate with them that much and understand what they're really about.
Solutions? I don't know. Time, I suppose. Time. Once we've all been around each other a lot longer.
Love that. Love it. We're running so out of time. Just tell me what kind of things did you see in that? Close-ups? Over the shoulders, yeah. Point of view. The handheld cam, there was a lot of that not steady stuff. Claire? Medium shots. There was a steady cam as well. What was that? Establishing shots. There was extreme close-up shots. Lots of stuff. I think this is such a great documentary to watch and very timely, especially if you've been watching the news, if you've heard anything about what's been happening, like a lot lately, but especially 2 days ago in Wisconsin when Jacob Blake, a black man, was shot 7 times by a police officer. We saw it all summer, right? It's happening. This is a very timely, appropriate film. How many of you, as you were watching it, felt uncomfortable? Was there any parts in that made you shift a little bit, or made you mad? Okay. Okay. And that is the point. I think if we watch these things and we don't get angry or feel uncomfortable, then we need to think a little bit more, right? And expose ourselves to this. Because this story, these stories, the black, indigenous, people of color stories are not most of ours. And so we can go, oh, well, it's not my story, so I don't care. Or we can listen to their stories and go, oh, there are stories that are not my story that are out there, and they're all just as relevant and all just as true and important. So that's the power of film, too. A short documentary, a 15-minute documentary can make us feel those things and learn those things.